Hello everyone, I'm Adam Prime, and I'm here with the first movie in the blazing Toku Moviethon, The Rebirth of Mothra. And before we get into the real details, I'm going to give the quickest summary I can, and I will be talking about spoilers. I don't know if I will cover it in the summary or whatever, but I will probably be mentioning spoilers, so if you haven't seen this 23, 22-year-old movie, because I think it was released in 98, sorry I spoiled it for you. So pretty much this movie is family movie, mythical adventure with magical moth, saves from Death Ghidorah, the space dinosaur dragon thing, in the forest. Because this movie had a very heavy environmental message and, like, focused on the kids a lot. So if you're a person who watches Toku movies and you don't like it when they're focused on a kid, these might not be for you. And if you don't like the dubs where it's like, I'm a grown man, but I'm voicing a child. Like, 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 if you don't like that, do not watch this dub either. If you're like, I don't mind if kids are in there, but you can't stand the dub voices, don't watch it. I'm not saying like, oh, I'm not looking at this, be like, hey, don't watch this movie. No, this is a fun movie, but like, I can see why some people wouldn't like it. But like, you just focus on this family, pretty much, and then like they unseal and release Death Ghidorah, and you know, standard Mothra stuff where it's like she has her little helpers, and like they're called the Elis, which I don't know why do these like the little Mothra helpers have so many names, like the Elis, Cosmos. Are they called like nymphs or fairies or something in the original ones? Like I'm just gonna call them the little Mothra helpers, but like then they have like the evil one, who's like, I don't know why she's evil. She's just like the black leather, like generic evil villainess on her little dragon thing being evil. Like that's her thing. That's her shtick. That's what she does. Like she's just the evil sibling of the other two that help Mothra. And pretty much she's taking over Death Ghidorah to try to destroy the Earth. Because Death Ghidorah can apparently absorb the energy of the Earth. But like it looked like he was like absorbing the tree's life and like the trees would explode, but I'm not sure if it was just like it was like it's like supposed to be he's coming it out of the ground and like the ground's exploding or what, but it looked like the trees did. But pretty much, and then we have like the first Mothra come in because there is like because of course they're having the thing be like, oh, the older Mothra has an egg, and she's not gonna be around for much longer. And so they pretty much have her get trampled by Death Ghidorah. Because why not? Because, instead of dying peacefully, something has to happen, like a Ghidorah just popping up out of nowhere, that you have to deal with. And, spoiler alert, die from. But, like, the little Mothra tried to help at the end, but then they pretty much both were like, yeah, neither of them got it. And then you get the saddest Mothra death ever, but I will go into the details on that in a little bit because I want to get through the summary. And then pretty much that's where the end of the movie happens. Pretty much Mothra, like the new baby Mothra, Mothra Leo, gets like to this giant tree, becomes big, and then reseals Death Ghidorah. That's the movie. So just following family, while they unleash Death Ghidorah, gets helped by Mothra's little helpers on their own little baby Mothra. First Mothra dies. Mothra Leo comes in, seals the other one. That's the movie. And it's it felt kind of long. It was like an hour 45. Like in a second I think I'm going to talk about scenes where that I think could have been cut. But that's pretty much the movie. And to give my overall thoughts before I get into details, I think it's okay. I think I had a lot more fun the first time I watched it. And I have both watched the sub and dub. And depends on the day, I could watch either or. I don't think one's better than the other. Like, if you don't like the cheesy Godzilla dubs, don't watch it dub then. Like, that's what it kind of is. It's not like, like Shin Godzilla, like a modern dubbing kind of thing. It's iffy. It can be kind of funny, but so you know. So to get a little bit more in detail, I want to talk about a few scenes that really stuck out to me this time because, like I said, I did not remember this movie real quick that it was super environmental, but like it does because it's like it pretty much ends with like the forest getting destroyed, but then like Leo Mothra just hand waving it away because it's just like, well, we can't have the forest be burnt down because what are we teaching the kids? And like that was the whole thing where it's like they were like fighting, being like, oh, you shouldn't destroy it. So it's like, hey, don't destroy the forest. You may awaken King Ghidorah or Death Ghidorah or just some random monster. Who knows? Like it was very environmental. Like don't destroy the trees. But there were just some scenes I felt like also could have just been cut from the movie. Like when the little girl has that scene where she has like telekinesis and is throwing her brother all across, like, you know, like that shot of like the whoosh, like somebody grabbing him, going on like a shelf or something, or like a ledge, and just like throwing him into all the stuff. Like, I don't understand the point of that. It's like she doesn't have that for the whole movie. It's not like when after she was done, like she was brainwashed the whole time, or like under her spell, under the evil like fairy Ellis spell, like she wasn't like using her telekinetic powers. Like after that, she was just sitting on the couch, like kind of like looking comatose for the rest of it until she was like back to normal and just being like, hey, yeah, we gotta help Mothra, yeah, you know. Like that like I don't know. It's like that scene seemed pointless, but like then that's shortly followed by the least threatening dog ever. It was just they just had this scene where like the boy was just like getting chased by this dog because like the evil little fairy, the evil Cosmos Ellis was just like, I don't want you in the house for some reason, and like summons this dog, and this dog looks so happy to be there. Like I know you can train dogs to look vicious and look mad, but it's like I don't know if they didn't do it because like that would make the kids scared or what. But like it was the happiest dog ever. It was just like, and you could see it wagging its tail, and they dubbed it over. They had to dub over it with threatening barks because I doubt this dog actually barked. Like even when he was trying to get him up the tree, it just looked like he was just like, hey buddy, what are you doing? I want to hang out. Like it looked like a dog that was more ready to play than ready to eat you. And like it was the most unthreatening dog ever. And overall, that was just like, I'm just like, okay, I guess that was fun, because that was shortly then followed by like the like Mothra's helpers on like a small Mothra that they call Fairy Mothra, like dog fighting the evil one, like on their dragon thing that turns out to be a robot, just like them dog fighting in the house because they just wanted to blow up like porcelain and cabinets and whatever else. It's just like, okay, I guess that was fun. And I mean, like, by the time you finally get to giant monsters, you're like 40 minutes in. But then, before they release Death Ghidorah, has one of the weirdest scenes, because you don't even see... Like, I know they've shown to a point that, like, the evil one is, like... shown that they can just, like, summon stuff, like, with the dog and stuff to be under their control, but, like, it's, like, not... I feel like maybe there was a scene cut where it's, like, you saw her, like, go up to the dad and take over his mind and, like, curse him or something. But no, it's just him on a bulldozer driving up to where, like, Death Ghidorah is sealed, cut, like, with gas or, like, explosives or something on the front of, like, the bulldozer, and just is just like, and, like, you just see him jump out of it and then explode, and then, like she explodes it, and it's just like, okay, then. And then Death Ghidorah's there, and it's just like, okay, alright, that's fine. If that's how you want to get to Death Ghidorah, that's fine, I guess. But it just was weird that, like, it just felt like, I'm like, did I miss something? and it's one of those things that just happen. But then we get to a scene that will always shock me. Like, I have seen this movie 2.5 times, but I react almost every time the same way with the Mothra's death scene, like the first one, like the parent Mothra, where it's just like, you have it sinking, like it falls into the ocean, because it's trying to take, like, the little baby larva Mothra back home or something. It falls into the ocean, and is just flapping. Is just trying to flap. And it's just, like, slowly sinking in. And you have the larva Mothra trying to help it get out of the water. As, like, one of the helpers is just stone-faced watching it die as the other one's crying. It's just like, what? Okay, this is just depressing. And then it just ends. It's not like, oh, the Mothra turns into, like, glitter and absorbs into the baby one. No, it just sinks. It's just gone. It's at the bottom of the ocean with the 56 Godzilla's bones. Like, it's dead. It's gone. Never to be seen again. Like, oh my god. But, like, I will say the battle scenes are really cool. Like, we don't see them in a town. They're in the forest the whole movie. But, like, the battles were pretty sweet. Like, Death Ghidorah was definitely meant to be shown as, like, the more prominent monster. Because he was just wrecking the original. Like, there's two different designs. Like, you have, like, the more Heisei looking. It's not quite the Heisei design. I guess it's tweaked a little bit with the parent Mothra. But, like, she tries to do her sparkle dust power, and it's just like, and then, like, just bites her wings, you know, as Ghidorahs do. And, like, even Death Ghidorah is not quite like King Ghidorah, where, like, King Ghidorah is gold with the 3 heads. Death Ghidorah is, like, is black and is on all 4 legs, kind of like, Kaiser Ghidorah? Yeah, from Final Wars, that one. Which is funny, because he went from bipedal to whatever. And it's just, like, it's really cool, where it's just like, oh wow, they make it feel intimidating, only to have the next Mothra, like Leo Mothra, the first male Mothra, which I don't know if it's the subbing, or maybe at the time they changed it, but, like, all the sources I've seen have called Leo, the one from Rebirth, a male Mothra. But in the thing, it called it she and everything, but whatever. And, like, she's a more enhanced and has, like, better powers, and it's awesome just, like, to see this Mothra break apart into smaller moths and just, like, swarm them, but then reform. I think that's really cool. And just was, like, oh, so over, like, just came in at the end and just whooped, like, Death Ghidorah's ass. Like, he's just, like, gone. He's just, like, he just made a halo of death and just, like, sealed him back away, where it's just like, wow, it went from, like, Mothra and the larva Mothra not being able to take him, but with Mothra Leo, it's just like, get back in your place! We're not taking this! And it was fun. Like, I feel like this movie makes up for what it lacks in its action. And I think that's fun. So talking about the suits, I really think the suits for this movie are really good. Like, I think that about a lot of the Heisei era designs. Like, I think pretty much Heisei onwards, they've always looked really good. And in this movie, it's like Death Ghidorah looks really cool, and as I mentioned, the design is so different. Like, you can recognize it as his own thing. And Mothra Leo's design, I really like. It's very green. Like, I don't know why. Is it because, like, oh, it's green for the earth or whatever? I guess he got his power from the tree, like a 10 million year old tree, but like I'm not quite sure, but I think it's cool design. And they changed it a couple more times in the sequels, but I think this initial design is really sweet. I think it's slick. I like the green. It looks super fluffy. I love it when Mothra's super fluffy. It's just so good. It's just so good to see a fluffy Mothra. And about, like, I guess Fairy Mothra. Fairy Mothra, again, is just a yellow, small, fuzzy Mothra that the Mothra helpers ride on, and then, like, the dinosaur thing that, like, the evil one rides. It's like, yeah, it's like, it looks like a dinosaur. It just looks like a small, like, chibi. It looks very almost generic, where it's like that dragon, it has horns and it has wings, and just people ride on them. That just, where it's not quite like, oh, it's garbage because it looks generic. It's just kind of like, okay, like it's not bad. It's not like I'm not gonna be like, oh man, I need a soft vinyl of that guy. It's like, It turns out it's a cyborg, so I don't know. Shoots lasers a lot, but overall, I think from the battles and everything that this movie does really well. And like the suits and like the puppets and everything look really good. It uses CGI there from time to time, especially to do that like Mothra swarm attack. But like I don't think it ever was glaring. I think the most glaring was when like the fairy Mothra went from like the puppet into like a vinyl version because you just saw it like fall on the ground, but like it was clearly CGI, and it's just like, oh, okay, that's fine. But overall, I think the designs are really well. I would recommend this movie. Like if you haven't seen the Rebirth of Mothra, I would say give it a shot. It's a fun movie. It if you're not a kid oriented movie, if you don't like that, I would say then skip it. But like I would say if you haven't seen a Mothra movie, it's not a bad one. I would say watch it. And overall, I don't know where I land on this movie anymore. I remember the first time I really liked it, and watching it this time for this review, well, discussion. It was more of like I was like, oh, it's okay. It's like I knew what was gonna happen. I was just kind of like, okay, whatever. I just didn't remember the environmental message being so out there, and they were like the dog, like I mentioned. Like I did not remember that dog being there. And it's okay. I think I've seen better, but for like I feel like one of like the non like Godzilla Mothra movies that I've seen, it's still good. And I can't I can't say anything about the other two from the trilogy because it's like I watched them as long ago as I watched this one the first time, and I haven't watched one or two since, so we'll save that for another time. But what do you guys think of the Rebirth of Mothra? Do you guys enjoy it? What did you guys what have you watched it? Like where did you know? Where it's like, what are your thoughts? Do you think the suits are good? Do you think they're bad? Or are you just gonna be like, it was just boring because kids are here. Just this is boring. Or it's like slow. I don't want to focus on the human characters. That's it, I guess. I don't know. I think it was fun. It felt like a fun adventure movie that you'd watch in like the 80s or something. Like it felt like a 90s movie, honestly. Actually, it felt like it was from the 90s. But you know, it is what it is. So I guess I'm gonna wrap it up here. I guess I'll see you guys next week for the next movie in the Blazing Toku Moviethon. I'm gonna just let the next video happen. But if you have any suggestions, put them in the comments. I'd appreciate it because I don't know. I just want to see what other ideas. Because I'd be like, sometimes I'm like, would anyone want you to talk about that? Would anyone care? So I'm up for suggestions. Leave what you think about this movie also in the comments. But I guess until next weekend or whatever else I do. Bye. Hey, Future had him back again, and I just wanted to say thanks so much for watching the first part of the Blazing Toku Moviethon for 2021. It was fun to do this. It was good to talk about it. And I just wanted to put out there I was wrong. This movie was not from 1998. It's from 2 years earlier in 1996. So, I'm going to put this correction right here at the end. But also, while I was editing, I realized I didn't mention Death Ghidorah's roar. And that makes me giggle every time, because it just sounds like an elephant. It's just a... I can't do that real good, but still, you get the point. It just makes me giggle. It's really funny to me. So I just wanted to slide this in here, just because I need to mention it. It's too funny to me. But until next weekend, bye.